Huh. Okay, Connor, what's your experience with reading an ebook?
I haven't had one of these e-reader things or the portable ones, but I have actually read The Great Gatsby online.
On your computer?
Yeah, on the computer.
Uh-huh. Was that a pleasurable reading experience, or did your eyes go dry from staring at the computer screen?
No, I stare at a computer screen enough.
Okay.
I toughened up to it.
Uh-huh.
No, I wouldn't say my eyes got sore.
Yeah.
I was actually reading about 3 books at the same time, so that took ages to read, so I wasn't sitting for too long reading it, so no, my eyes didn't get bad.
My experience with the e-readers, I sat on an airplane once next to a lady that had a Kindle, and I didn't ask her if I could look at it or anything, but she sat there and read through the whole flight. I guess she enjoyed that. But, I see the Kindle 2 right now selling for $299, and the Kindle DX, the larger brother to the Kindle 2, is almost $500.
That's not cheap. So
right.
I would be expecting, if I was shedding out that sort of money, to be able to get books a lot cheaper.
Right. I see on Amazon. I see on Amazon.com. I've ordered a lot of books in the last couple of months. That every time I order a book, almost every time they offer an electronic download version for I think $2.99, which is reasonable. But I don't think they would offer that unless I bought the paper version.
Right.
But me, you guys both know that I have a small tablet PC that I read on throughout the day, and it's mostly internet stuff. I read stuff on websites, and I don't think I've ever really read a book using that thing, but I do read a couple hours a day, almost every day of the week with that, and it works well.
One of the fantastic things I think about buying, for example, off Amazon ebooks, is you get them instantly. Because I have a problem when I buy books off and they post them, I'm never in during the week, and the post comes about lunchtime, so they shove this thing through to say, sorry, but you weren't in, and they won't deliver on weekends.
Right.
So that's a hassle, and you have to phone them up to say, yes, you can leave them with the neighbour or shove them in the shed or something.
Right.
So it's just that instantaneous, oh, bought it, it's here, you can read it. You don't have to sit and wait for it to be delivered, or it's there.
Right. How about sharing a book? Gene and I buy books. We have kind of our own little subversive library, I guess that's what we call it. And we have a stack of books, and we're talking to friends or whoever, and we get talking about a subject, and we say, hey, read this book. We read it, and it relates to what we're talking about. And so, is that the end? Are ebooks the end of sharing books with your friends?
Yeah, I was actually thinking similar scenario. Libraries. Could you imagine? It would be fun going to a library, saying hi to the library. No, there wouldn't be a librarian. There wouldn't need to be one. Then you just walk into this library, no librarian to speak to, and you just sit down at a computer and look at the database. There's this one guy in the whole of Scotland sits adding books to this database. You see, because you wouldn't need a librarian to organise the books. It would just be a computer system
right.
to go and download the books.
Right.
I think you'll see that as folks get these devices, the issue of sharing a book, an ebook, is going to be very similar to what happens when people download music and say, hey, listen to this, and suddenly you've sent a copy of an MP3 song over to your friend to listen to. I don't know if the industry is going to say, try to do what the music industry did, where they tried to put copy protection on the CDs that people bought so that they couldn't rip them to MP3. I don't know if they're going to put any kind of electronic,
digital rights management
inside it.
I do see, looking at the specs of these new ebooks, some of them do digital rights management, DRM, and some of them do the open books, I think is what they call them, so that are freely distributed. And most of them do both of that. But yeah, there is a digital rights management system built in to ebooks already.
There was a backlash there was a backlash with some of the bands. What's the big one, Metallica, where they ranted and raved about people stealing their music, and a number of folks said, "Fine, then guess what? We won't buy your music at all."
Right.
You don't hear Metallica complaining about their music anymore because nobody was buying it. So
right.
I don't know if they've changed their minds or if they just thought it was more important to get the money or what the deal was, but.
Right.
You're going to see a similar thing happen with the ebooks, I think.
Right. How long ago was that, Danny? That was like 5 years ago. That wasn't long ago at all.
No, it wasn't. It's been the beginning part of this decade. So,
right.
And there was a huge stink. They were going to Congress here in the United States and ranting and raving about people stealing their stuff, and it's like, I understand. I've written music. I've had a song recorded. I understand about getting ripped off. And yet, when you make that big a stink about it, people retaliate and say, well, then let me show you how many of your albums I'm going to buy. None.
Right, exactly. Well, last week I took Gene to the U2 concert here in Houston, and packed out stadium, 70,000 people, and I made the comment while we were there. Could you imagine them saying, "Oh, you're not allowed bringing recording devices into the stadium"? I mean, like every other person had their cell phone up doing video of the concert. I mean, it was constant. I mean, we had nosebleed seats. We had the cheapest seats you could buy, and we were, just a couple of rows from the ceiling of the place. But looking down on all these people, there were cell phone screens. Like I say, 50% of the people had their cell phones out. And what do you think they were talking to their friends? No, they were recording the concert. So it would be ridiculous to try to control that these days. No one expects that. Pretty short-sighted Metallica.
Do you want to know where I listen to all my music?
Where?
I
Napster?
created it.
No.
I've got a playlist on YouTube with 110 songs that I just play them through randomly.
So is it copyrighted music on YouTube?
I don't know. It's on YouTube and I listen to it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, the problem is with that, sometimes you get some of your music vanishes.
Yeah.
But,
I recorded. I used to work for Best Buy, and I made a video one day, like 10 years ago, of some reconstruction we were doing with a whole bunch of the employees, and I put it in beat with Kansas's "Carry On, My Wayward Son." Great music and nice video, and after it was done, well, actually a couple years ago, I thought, I'll put it on YouTube so everybody can see it. And it took about a year, but I got a notification from them saying it was copyrighted music, and I could either pay for the music or I could allow whoever the record label was, I could allow them to put advertisements on my video, and then everything would be okay. So I just went and opted for that.
I see that. What they do is they put buy this song on iTunes along the bottom. That's fine. I just don't buy it on iTunes and listen to it anyway.
Right. Well, interesting topic. I think as writers, we're in for a ride over the next decade or so as things migrate to electronic media.
Yeah. They're up 150% last year in sales.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that sums it up.
Honestly, I don't know any of my friends that are going to run out and buy a Kindle or anything for $300 to read books. But, it's around the corner. I'm sure of that. Okay, well, good show. It's a wrap. We'll talk to you guys next time.